Okie dokie. Well, it's the next day. I've probably dedicated quite a few hours now to getting this all put back together, and so far everything works, so that's always good. We have 3 new actuators in, because like I said, I had the one for the mode door, the temp something or other for right or something, temp left, something like that. And then there's one more that I think is for the center console vents, but that one looks like it would be just as hard, if not harder, than that one I went through just for the mode door. And like I said, pulled the dash fascia off, pulled the airbag out, drilled a hole, or a few, to find out where it was, just to get at one little screw, because they only give you half an inch to get in at that screw otherwise. And well, there's just no getting in there with anything. And trust me, I've got tools, and I ain't got a Phillips that is less than half an inch. And especially once you start backing that screw out, I mean, where's it gonna go? You know, it's a pretty decently long screw. It's about a half-inch long screw, so you'd be screwed. But like I said, they designed that actuator to be changed with the entire, and I mean entire dashboard out, the whole core support, the whole 9 yards. So, I guess, without further ado, lights. No lights. Look at that. Look at that. Of course, seatbelt because I'm not buckled up. Hood ajar because I haven't. Oh shit. One thing I didn't do was hook this back up. Oops. Shit. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to order a new dash piece up here because that plastic gets so damn brittle. The minute you touch it or even look at it, it just shatters. Oh, I was gonna say, why is it? I had my foot outside the door and I could feel the car lifting up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Is it the seat? No, it's the air suspension. Okay, so apparently I have a leak yet in the air ride because it's lifting quite a bit. And there it stopped. But it was already cracked somewhere up here. I don't remember. It was around the speaker. Just a small little crack, but literally I was using my trim pry tool and it just shattered. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But if you knew what the dash fascia looked like after doing this, you'd say I need a new dashboard, because the section that stuff bolts to, this bolts to, that the radio bolts to, and that this clips into broke off completely. And that little plastic brace that goes underneath the column, that broke. And it's the one underneath the glove box, that broke. I mean, so much of this dashboard is broke. I mean, it's solid as a rock. I mean, you couldn't move it an inch or any type of measurement. It's in here solid. But it definitely is just held together with screws. So instead of any kind of structural support. So that's always fun. But I always had the idea, since I found out there was a Platinum Edition Cadillac, of doing the Platinum Edition interior, which includes a leather wrapped dash, leather wrapped under knee bolsters and console and door panels. And I just got to find a Platinum that's been trashed and has this nice beige. And what sucks is the Platinum, they did a black on top, which I like the brighter color than, the beige instead of black, but it is what it is. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, everything's all back together, everything works, so that's always good. I'm glad. No freaking obnoxious codes or nothing. Heat's coming out facing feet, if I can find the feet vent thing. But I've tested all this stuff already, and everything works, and that is nice. And I don't hear any annoying kind of re going on inside the dashboard, so that's even better. So I cleaned the sensor off. That's for the HVAC. I used some card cleaner on it because it's like a mass airflow sensor. So as well, right? But no, everything's working. It's just rather annoying that the memory can't seem to get the steering wheel position right, because I like it up a little bit and it's messing with everything. The whole seat's just out of whack, really. I don't know, I'm sitting on a hill, so anyway, everything works. And it's interesting note, if you don't have the seat in and you try to move the steering column with the electronics, it won't go. For some reason it wants the seat plugged in. So, but I gotta get the hood latch hooked up and then I can do stuff and whatnot. So, but yeah, got it cleaned up a little bit, but I got the old actuator. Whoopsie. Well, it did work. Who knows if it does now. The part number for this was different, and the arm was just a tad, it had extra plastic on it going around, but it was the same length and had the same structure going up, and they looked identical otherwise. It's just it had a different arm on it. What was it? No, it was this one that was different. Okay, so this one was different for the driver's side, but passenger one looked identical, had the same part number on it and everything, and so did this one, which is the bastard to get to. And this one with the broken tab, which is a screw you cannot get to without removing the dash. Now, it's about 1:45. I've been working on it since about 9:30-ish, if that. Maybe a little bit before that, and then I quit about 8:30 last night after taking about an hour break, eating some food, and that was, well, I came in at 8:30, so went in 7:30, and I don't even know what time I started on this yesterday. I want to say there's well over 6 hours in ripping it apart and putting it back together again, and you know, as you can see, there's no codes, so that's always nice. Heat works. We have air coming out of the face. We put it to feet, and there is no air coming out of the duct. I mean, it's just a whisper, but nothing like it was before. Like you can really feel it coming out at you. Not anymore. So that's always nice, because before I'd have it on feet and it'd be blasting out the face yet, and you'd have to have it on feet and defrost in order to get it to go to full feet. Because when it was just on feet, or no, yeah, when it was on face and feet, it was, your feet would just instantly freeze. It was like it cut off all air down there 100%. I was like, what the hell? And then you do feet, it would kind of take some air away, but not a lot, and then it would help down there, but you'd have to go all the way to defrost and feet in order to get full feet. So, but what I found out with that actuator I replaced for the mode door, that one, for some reason the defrost is on like 2/3 the settings. It's on for face and feet, it's on for feet, it's on for feet and defrost, and then a little bit more for feet and defrost. But it's like always on, and when it's pretty much full off is when it's on only face. So I don't know why they did that, and I was looking at it all when they were when I was testing it. You could see it's just a straight line, well, you know, a straight curve. That's an oxymoron, isn't it? But you know what I mean. It's a smooth curve. There's no humps in it. And then you get to here, which would be, is it face and feet? Be feet, and then it would be, oh, I'm sorry, no. Let's see, it'd be, this one would be feet and defrost, feet, face and feet, and then just face, I think. But I don't know, maybe it's the opposite, because there was, it wouldn't change. So this would be, so this one's only face, face and feet, and then full defrosted feet. Yeah, because there's just, yeah, whatever. It's the defrost is like always on for some dumb reason, except for full face. But anyway, now that that's figured out, that took me a few times last night. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm looking at this thing and I'm moving, having the thing, I'm crawled up underneath the dash and I'm looking at this thing moving, seeing if the arm's all the way down or all the way up and for which setting. And it took me a few times to figure out which setting and what it was doing. But both arms are moving over there because there's 2 arms that hook onto this, and that's what makes it a pain in the butt. One, you can't disassemble. You gotta rip the whole dashboard to get at the freaking bolt for this thing, the 1 bolt. And then there's 2 arms, and once you pull this off, both arms just drop, and you're like, oh, that's gonna be fun, because you got a dowel that sits in here, and then you have this dowel which goes into another arm. And oh my gosh, what an absolute freaking turd. It took me probably well over an hour to get, no, maybe not, probably pretty close to 45 minutes just to get this thing sat in there with both arms working. And yeah, next time the dash is going to be out for that sucker. Oh, but yeah, that's disgusting. I have to get a new center channel because that hole in the tweeter I showed you as I'm putting it back in, on that plug that was loose, it actually ripped the contact off the cone of the speaker. So need a new center channel, and it's interesting how the center channel is different colors than the 2 end ones. But then I need a new dash piece, and I ended up cracking a couple frickin' trim pieces for the door, which is great. I love that a lot. But, and you know, the stupid thing is I've had all this trim off once before, twice, 3 times before, and yet this time it decided to break. There's a crack going right here. I'm just so done with stuff breaking. I think there's another one in this one, maybe? Maybe not. Well, maybe not. Why don't you look at that? So, 2 out of 4. Not great. So, another piece of shattered dashboard yet. But, oh, it's just nice to have that done. Have the blend door working like it is supposed to do, and not making annoying noises that make passengers go, what is that? Don't worry about it. So, my crap. It's going straight in the frickin' dumpster. But, so yeah, there she is. Well, the only thing I didn't do was tighten down the screw for the shifter yet. And put the skirt on. I can't forget. Uh-oh. You know what sucks? So I left the skirt sitting on a stud underneath the center console. Uh-oh. That could be an adventure. Oh, it literally blended in with what I was doing. Let's see here. Maybe we can see it. Get it. Oh. No, we can't. Oh, man. Isn't that a joke? Well, and what sucks is I don't know how to get the cup holder out. You know, I got the insert out, no big deal, but pull these screws out, and then it looks like behind here through these holes there's screws, but they're not going down, they're coming up. So you'd have to get at them from the bottom in order to remove the cup holder. I was like, what freaking idiot to design this car? God bless it, I tell you. Just sick of people and their stupidity. Can't remove the cup holder, and that's where it's at. Oh, well, I guess I'm going without a skirt on that for a little bit. Maybe I'll have to buy a new one, because this one's getting a little kind of worse for wear, and not horrible, but not great either. But I really wanted to upgrade the shifter to the 2007 and up shifter. It's a little bit more sleek, kind of comes at a V back here a little bit. And the wood too, which finding wood to match. Although this one's pretty heavily sun faded. It's more kind of yucky, faded, yellowish than darker. You can see, so. But you gotta change the wood out, and that cracked too. So that's always fun. But get new wood, get a new shifter. It does not have a 4 mode, which I would like, because there's a couple times I've gotten on the freeway, and until I get up to speed and look at the RPM, I don't even know it's in 4th gear. I mean, it just doesn't hit you until you're going fast, and it's just like, oh, You're screaming a little bit there. Let me bump her up. And yeah, I know it says on the dash, but whatever. You just throw her in gear and go. But oh, poop. That was a little bit of work. But it's one of them things that when you don't do it, you know it's wrong. It's hard to leave it alone, or it's hard to live with it. You got to mess with it. So now the only thing left to put on are strut tower bushings. I know the struts are leaking, so it's kind of contradictory, but they're in here somewhere. KYB. And no, not the jelly. But, little guy. Hopefully it's the right one, because I know there were ones with the magnetic ride and then non-magnetic ride suspension, so hopefully that's the right one. But struts are leaking, but they're still really solid. They're really good. I mean, it drives like a freaking sports car. There's hardly any give to the front, so I'm gonna say it hasn't leaked all the magnetic fluid out yet. But you got to do that, and of course that's another fairly big project. It's ripping the whole front end off, and pulling the strut out, and using the spring compressor, and swapping the bushing out. But you go down the road and you hear a bunch of knocking, and that's coming from the struts. It's always fun. So that's next on the list. And then I got to figure out the rear air leak. That's another thing. And I got all these new calipers and brackets and stuff, and they're rusting out. I mean, look at that. Those two came as a pair, and yet one's rusting and the other one isn't. That's rather annoying. But that's an easy fix. So, well, I suppose I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And have a good day, and God bless.